My name's Dr. Hermine Graham, and today I want to share with you some ideas about managing your moods by managing the thoughts that come into your mind. How have you been feeling? How are you feeling right now in this moment? How have you been feeling over the past few weeks? So much has happened in the world and in your world over the past few weeks. I wonder if you're feeling anger, irritation, or frustration. Are you feeling sadness and depression, helplessness and despair, or are you feeling sheer panic and anxiety and fear? It's normal to experience the whole range of emotions, especially when something difficult or upsetting happens. Usually these emotions are short-lived and they pass with time, but sometimes these feelings can stick around a bit too long and start to really affect our moods, our physical health, and the way we behave, the way we think about ourselves, the world, and the future. You might be thinking, so why am I feeling the way I do? Well, the thoughts that automatically pop into your mind can really influence how you feel and your mood. Within cognitive behaviour therapy, commonly referred to as CBT, a central idea is that our thoughts are way more powerful than we think. That is, our thoughts can influence how we feel, how our moods, and how in turn we act and how our body responds. I'll give you an example to illustrate this. If you're lying in bed at home and you've got a two-story house and you hear a loud crash in the middle of the night, if the thought goes through your mind, it's a burglar who's come to attack me and to break into my home, you might notice a change in your heart rate perhaps. You might feel a sense of sweating, breathlessness, feelings of panic. You might then decide, shall I take flight, hide underneath my duvet, or shall I take fight and perhaps go and see what that burglar's up to? However, if you're still lying in your bed and the thought passes through your mind, I remember what it is. It's the window that I've left open. It's the window's knocked the vase off the windowsill and it's broken the vase. In that moment, you might feel reduce in your heart rate and you might start to feel less worried, more calm in your mind, and you might less be concerned about going out there to see what's happening or hiding. The key difference between those two scenarios is really the thoughts that you're thinking. You haven't left your bed in that scenario, but the thought of panic has been driven by a threat, a thought that something negative was going to happen to you, someone going to attack you. In the second instance, there's no threat value. The thought is it's the wind that's made that loud crash, and that leads to the positive change in mood. That's how powerful our thoughts are, that they can change our moods, change how we act, and even our heart rate. It's the thoughts that we think that are really key to understanding why we feel the way we do and why you've been feeling the way you've been feeling over the past week. People respond very differently to a crisis or to an event in life and even to the coronavirus, COVID-19. Because we all think differently, it means different things to different people. I'll use an example to illustrate this. If a person is sitting at home during the coronavirus lockdown and then watching the news, if the person starts to think to themselves, what if when I go out shopping, I accidentally touch something? What if I catch the virus? What if I then come home with the shopping and somebody at home catches the virus too? What if they die or I die? How do I know what is safe to touch? That person might start to feel nervous. They might even start to feel fear and anxiety and panic. Another person, they're sitting at home during the coronavirus lockdown, watching the same news. The person starts to think, awful things always happen to me. I was just getting on well at work and now I'm stuck at home and I can't go to work. Nothing good ever happens to me. From the moment I woke up, I knew it was going to be a bad day. That person might feel sad, hopeless, or depressed. A third person sitting at home watching the same news during the coronavirus lockdown, they start to think to themselves, I hate them. I hate all the people who started this coronavirus. I hate the fact that this virus has come. It's not fair. I'm stuck at home, locked up in this house with my family, with my parents. They don't understand me. I can't even go out. I can't go to school. I can't see my friends. It's just not fair. That person may feel angry. A fourth person, a little old lady sitting at home watching the news, the same news during the coronavirus lockdown, and she thinks to herself, thank God my TV is working and that I'm well enough to watch the news. Bad things are happening, but they probably will pass and we'll get through this crisis. She probably feels a sense of relief. So four people, they experience the same event. They're sitting at home during the virus lockdown, watching the news, but they all have four different emotional responses. So it's not the event per se that seems to lead to the emotion, but really it's the way they're thinking about it that is key. For those people who are experiencing anxiety right now, and if you are, the thinking style that usually drives anxiety is a question of what if something happens? What if something catastrophic and terrible happens? It's usually a negative outcome that the mind thinks will happen. For those who are experiencing depression or sadness or sense of hopelessness, your thinking style is possibly one of global loss, losing something that is of utmost importance to you that you think you won't be able to get back and that things will never improve. For those people who are experiencing anger, the thinking style is usually a belief and expectation that the people, the world and others are really not behaving in the way they should, and there are lots of rules about how people should and should not behave. A happiness or a well-being mindset is one that isn't really rigid, it's flexible, it's not fixed, it sees difficulties as temporary really, and it looks for hope. It acknowledges the difficulties inherent within each situation and event, but it tolerates the uncertainty and the unpredictability, but focus on of it being a specific event that will be temporary and that will pass within time. In the future videos, what we'll look at is how you can manage your moods and how you, by managing your mind and the thoughts that you all think. I hope you'll tune in to our next video. Thank you.